A giant mining company is just 3 weeks away from getting access to Oak Flat unless a federal judge steps in.
Over the past few weeks, ABC 15 has reported extensively on the fight for Oak Flat. It's one of Arizona's most unique and beautiful landscapes, located in the Tonto National Forest. It's also considered sacred to many Apaches.
Resolution Copper plans to build one of the nation's largest underground mines there. Tribal, environmental, and conservation groups have all filed lawsuits to try to stop it.
Tomorrow, the U.S. Senate could confirm the first ever Native American as Secretary of the Interior. As ABC 15's Claudia Rupsich explains, that could influence what happens next.
Oak Flat is part of the Tonto National Forest, about an hour east of Phoenix, just outside Superior. The Apaches and other Native Americans have used this land to pray, collect medicinal plants, hold ceremonies, and honor those buried there. It's also one of Arizona's beautiful desert landscapes, with giant boulders that draw rock climbers from across the country, oak trees, shallow canyons, and a popular campground.
It's not going to be available for anything. It is going to be destroyed.
For more than a decade, tribal, conservation, and environmental groups have been fighting against the proposed Resolution Copper mine. The underground project would leave a nearly 2-mile-wide crater on the surface, destroying Oak Flat.
It's harmful on so many levels.
The land was protected from mining until 2014, when a bill allowed for a land exchange between the federal government and Resolution Copper, granting it access to Oak Flat. Randy Saraglio from the Center for Biological Diversity is part of a coalition that on Friday filed for a preliminary injunction to stop that land exchange. They claim the project analysis done by the U.S. Forest Service, called the Environmental Impact Statement, is invalid.
It was clear that the document was rushed to completion without considering all of the different ways that this project would harm the water supply, the landscape, the wildlife.
The impact statement was necessary for the land swap to occur. Protectors of Oak Flat say the Trump administration pushed to publish the report before he left office.
It's inadequate. They did not look at the significance of the impacts, how severe they would be.
There have been a few federal lawsuits to halt the project. One judge already denied another group an injunction on the land swap. But Saraglio believes there are other ways to derail the plan.
Joe Biden is in the process of undoing a long list of corrupt and environmentally destructive things that Trump did on his way out the door. And this definitely falls right in line.
He says the Biden administration could withdraw the final environmental impact statement, and Congress could finally pass the Safe Oak Flat Act, which would repeal the land exchange authorization.
Regardless of what happens, we all have an obligation to stand up for underrepresented people.
Another good sign for advocates, Biden's nomination for Secretary of Interior. Representative Deb Haaland is a member of New Mexico's Laguna Pueblo. If confirmed, she'd be the first Native American to hold the position and serve as a cabinet secretary.
I think she'll have a huge impact on protection of land, air, water, and the climate.
She brings a critical perspective to this issue and many other issues like it. There's been no protection really for indigenous sacred sites, whether they're on public lands or wherever else they could be found. We need to make some progress in establishing a formal framework to protect places like this.
She wouldn't have direct control over Oak Flat since the Department of Agriculture oversees the Forest Service. Still, advocates hope her presence and perspective will have an influence.
I think just having her voice in the administration will make a difference on this and other issues.
A judge must rule on the injunction before March 16th. That's the latest Resolution Copper can legally get access to the land.
We reached out to Resolution Copper for this story, but did not hear back. In previous statements, though, they said that they've been working with the U.S. government for years and that this process has not been rushed. I'm Claudia Rupsich, ABC 15 Arizona.
The San Carlos Apache tribe is now the third group to file for a preliminary injunction to stop the land swap. One has already been denied.